Hi Virgo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your September 2021 full moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Virgo be affected by the September 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. So at the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have Temperance, which is Sagittarius energy. If we have Sagittarius within our natal chart, it's going to come through very powerfully at our root. But balance is a huge part of this time, which makes sense because the full moon is in Pisces, and we'll get to that in a moment. And then we have the Hermit. We have Virgo energy coming through. This is us. This is the very essence of us and the balancing of the essence of us, which is going to be a little bit more intense and maybe even a little bit more trying than we had anticipated it to be. The Witch of Earth. This is, again, our energy. Virgo energy coming forward. This is also Earth sign energy. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. The Witch of Earth says, I am grounded and I am embracing the power of the earth, of the inspiration, of the insight, of the ideas from the earth, from myself, from creation. Leading us to the 10 of Wands, the 10 of Fire. Our emotional self is the 8 of Wands. Things really start to change. And then we have the 8 of Hearts. Do note, with the repeat of the number 8, our hearts take things a little bit seriously during this time, or maybe a little bit too seriously. We can take things really to heart. Things can become much more emotionally charged or emotionally aimed than a person meant them to be. So do be mindful of that. We're also going to take everything a little bit seriously. Well, actually not a little bit seriously, super seriously during this time, lightening up, understanding that things are changing, understanding that things are evolving, understanding that we're moving away from what we once thought we would love and moving on a new path. That's going to be so important for us. Then we have the 3 of Pentacles, which is a sense of regeneration. It's a sense of prosperity, success, a way to move forward within that prosperity and success. And then we have the Hangman. We don't see things the same way as everybody else. There's also a sense here of honoring the stages of ourselves with the 3 of Pentacles, honoring the youth, the adult and the wisdom that we are becoming and transforming into and embracing in whatever stage of life we are. So in kind of like the triple goddess sense, it's the maiden, the mother, and the crone. Excuse me. So that's going to be very important and very powerful to understand the prosperity that we're moving forward into. Also, we're going to be very connected to people during this time. It's going to be a sense of people working together, of inspirations. It's like no man is an island is going to be very much this energy for us. What we have to do is not give all the credit to somebody or not take all the credit for ourselves, because we can go in either extreme during this time. So let us talk about this moon. This is the full moon in Pisces. This is a beautifully intense moon. So it says balance, spirituality, and practicality. The full moon in Pisces, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, which brings beauty to the spiritual realm. The spiritual is going to be astoundingly beautiful to us during this time and may just amplify its beauty for us if we already find the spiritual to be beautiful. What we're going to see here is that it also shows us and holds us to our dreams. It holds sway to our dreams. Neptune holds sway to our dreams, to what we desire, to what we want. And that is an intense and powerful place to be. But also, as we are looking at our dreams with openness and honesty and determination and focus, we also have the fact that during this time, Neptune can also have it be that we want to kind of slip away from the real world. We want to enter into our dreams more and more and more, and away from the real world more and more, which means that we can fall into our old patterns of addiction, whether that be drugs or alcohol or overeating, undereating, whatever it is, over-exercising, under-exercising, things like that. We're going to tend to fall back to our old coping mechanisms, which might not always be the healthiest for us, because usually we have these coping mechanisms come forward when we are youths, and we use them to protect us. And now they're not going to be protecting us the same way, because we need to embrace our dreams, and we're kind of falling into our dreams and into the public arena. And so we need to see the way these two things come together for us during this moon. This is also when we are the most spiritual and compassionate, which is absolutely beautiful. But with the spirituality and this compassion comes the fact that our boundaries are the thinnest. So we have to be mindful of being taken advantage of negative energies really affecting us, especially since our hearts are so serious during this time. In order to keep us from feeling things too much, from taking on negative energy too intensely, we need to clear away any negative energy within us every single day, whether that means going for a walk outside, whether that means sitting in meditation, playing a board game with our friends or family, laughing, watching a really funny movie, raising our energy vibration. That's just going to be really important. Now, the full moon always brings into alignment or into our realm of vision our family, our friends, and our close relationships. And what that means is that we're looking at what's important to us, or the circle of people that are our support group that are around us. Now, with the full moon also comes the energy of the sun being opposite the moon, which seems like a no-brainer. But what that brings forward is opposing energy. What we're going to see that we focus on is opposites. We focus on what we want to do and what we need to do. We're going to focus on the wants of others and the wants of ourselves, the needs of others, the needs of ourselves. And this can become very draining, because there's almost a sense of, I just need to focus on this thing, only do this one thing, and then I can do something else. Stepping back, breathing out, understanding that this is a balancing act, amplified by the fact that we are balancing spirituality and practicality, and knowing that the temperance, the balance, comes when the ferocity of us and the serenity of us comes together. Our intuition and our emotional awareness is going to be at its peak through the charts during this full moon, and always is during the full moon. Now, the energy of the full moon lasts for 2 weeks after the full moon. So we have here Mercury trine Jupiter, which is absolutely amazing power. It brings optimism, generosity, good luck, and good news. It really opens up the doors for us. Our instincts are on point, and we can see ourselves moving forward towards the future that we want, towards the power, towards the intensity that we really desire. And this is a great time for networking and for socializing, for setting up those dominoes to all fall into place. When Mercury squared Pluto, this brings a little bit more complicated energy forward because it's a little bit more difficult than Mercury trine Jupiter. We see with Mercury squared Pluto that we are really deep thinkers. We want to dive into the nitty-gritty of everything, just go deeper and deeper and deeper. And we seek out intensity. The more intense the conversation, the more intense the subject, the more intense the stakes, like the more charged it is, the more we want to dive into it. And this can be very disruptive and destructive for our energy self, which is already going to have this thin barrier because Pluto is ruled by Neptune. So we have to be mindful of what we let in. We have to be mindful of the rabbit holes we fall down. This is fantastic for work and for research and for, discovering new things and connecting with people. Yes, it is. But this can also lead us to a bit of a rigidity that isn't going to serve anybody. And we just have to be mindful of that during this time. But luckily, we have Jupiter semi-sextile Pluto, which helps soften the energy of Mercury squared Pluto and also aligns us with the success of Mercury trine Jupiter. This brings powerful spiritual and personal growth, which aligns us with bringing balance to our spiritual and practical sides. It also brings us the ability to create wealth, prosperity, and abundance within our life, be it financial or be it something we value as much as money. And we see professional advancements. We see ourselves moving forward in an astoundingly powerful, aligned way. Now, on the 6th of October is the new moon in Libra, which we will be doing a video on by itself, just focusing on the new moon and its interactions with us. So it brings us to a new romantic cycle beginning. This doesn't mean that we have to fall in love with somebody, though we very well could. It just means that there's new romance, new beauty, new love and passion within our lives, which is actually something that we're really quite ready for when we see our heart right here depicted by the cards. Excuse me. It moves us then to the full moon in Aries on the 20th of October. This is fiery climax approaches. This is fire, intensity, and determination. Here on this earthly plane, really focused on the earthly plane. It's almost as if we have to come in alignment with the spiritual and the practical, with this whole dance of our spiritual self, our emotional self, and our practical, pragmatic self to be able to come and step into this fire of change, this climax of determination. The energy we have to be mindful of during this time is angels and spirit guides. Show me clearly, guide this reading. Is the King of Pentacles. First and foremost, it is ourselves. We can be a little bit too set in our ways, okay? And not let the spiritual success or the practical success come forward if it's not exactly the way that we envisioned. This is going to also be the time where we have to see the interconnectedness of things and not boil it down to success or money or prestige, but boil it down to how is it enriching our life. That's going to be our keyword. That should be our mantra for this time. How is it enriching my life? How is this time enriching my life? How am I enriching my life? Because we can very easily get out of focus and just be like, no, succeed, achieve, succeed, achieve, succeed, achieve. If it isn't doing all these things, then it doesn't matter. We are also going to find ourselves very much aligned with very ambitious, very successful people. Now, it doesn't mean that they have to all be CEOs of companies and just these fantastic entrepreneurs or creative geniuses. What it means is that they have tremendous drive. So it doesn't matter if they have the tremendous drive in something they do on the side, in a hobby, or they have this tremendous drive in their jobs, in their careers. What they have is a tremendous focus forward, or in their families also, we cannot forget that. But they have this tremendous focus forward, and we need things to just be dialed down a bit, because we can very much be caught up in the determination for success, in the fierceness of it all. Our chakra energy for this time, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Is inspiration, the sacral chakra. We are going to be inspired to embrace our sensuality and our sexuality. We're going to be inspired to embrace our creativities, to see ourselves rising higher and higher into ourselves, into what we desire, into our creation, into what we want from our lives. Now, the thing is with the sacral chakra is it's a bit complex because it holds a lot of negative energy from this life and from past lives. So during this time, we're going to see a purging happen, and that's what our hearts are stepping away from. At our root is a sense of balance, the fierceness of our intensity, and I don't want to say meekness, because it's kind of like, it's not necessarily meek. Mice can be quite vicious, actually, but it's this undervalued focus of ourselves coming together. It's finding this balance within us. It's finding this harmony that guides us. It's opening up the door and saying, this is me, with intention and purpose and integrity of self. And we find that this boils up within us, that this harmonizes our hearts, our souls, and our desires, and it leads us to the Hermit. So as we're coming into balance, as we're embracing the filling of 2 cups, because that's what it's represented by in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the angel pouring liquid from one cup to another, we find ourselves harmonizing. We find ourselves saying, but this is equally as important as that. The practical and the spiritual both have their places within the world, both have their place within my life. And it brings us to the Hermit. It brings us to this place that is fiercely guarded, and that's the inner sanctum of ourselves. That is our dreams and our wishes and our desires and our hopes. And because of Pluto, of Pisces being ruled by Neptune, because of this sense of, I'm opening up the door, I'm seeing myself more honestly, more intensely, more accurately than ever before. It's like, yes, this is how I'm moving forward. This is where I want to be. And we can seem a little bit prickly to other people if they don't understand our goals, but also we're not going to really desire sharing it with anybody. This is very much the personal sense of, I'm opening up this door to what I want, to what I need, to who I am. And as we do so, the Witch of Earth comes forward. The sense of our prosperity and our abundance, our connection with the earth is going to be intrinsic for this time. Just sitting in the sun, whether it be by a window or whether it be outside, connecting with the earth, grounding ourselves, wearing barefoot shoes is something that I am absolutely into and would be very interested in doing a video of if you are interested. There is this sense here of needing to be grounded, to need to connect with the earth, with ourselves, with what we want from life, with who we are, and our place within this planet, and not have us be so disconnected from everything that is intrinsically important. The Witch of Earth draws her power from the earth, and we ourselves are going to be drawing our power from the earth, from our earthly selves, from our earthly desires. It leads us to the 10 of Fire, and the 10 of Fire is the sense of, I am no longer overburdened. I'm no longer looking at the dirt on my shoes, because that is what the 10 of Wands is. The 10 of Fire is in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. It is looking at the dirt on our shoes. It is being overwhelmed, overburdened, over everything. And this is saying, no, what is the path that leads you forward? What is the illumination that's coming as you look up? As you look up and say, there's more here than meets the eye. We have the cardinal in the background. We have her between the trees. And there's this beautiful sense of, there's this beautiful sense of a power and intensity coming forward. There's this beautiful sense of, this is who I am. This is what I want. This is the path. It's illuminating after such a struggle. It's illumination after a struggle. It's illumination of soul and desire and intensity and focus and jubilance. It's almost a sense of, I've been carrying so much for so long that I forgot how to look up. I forgot how to smile. I forgot how to laugh. I forgot the joy that was supposed to be here. It brings us then to the 8 of Wands. It's like, as we unburden ourselves, as we lift ourselves forward, the 8 of Wands brings us to this place of everything is changing quickly, especially around our passions, our careers, what we want, what we desire from life, what we're focusing on. Some of us can find that this is really a ground-shaking time. This is a time where we move in a direction we never expected to move. There's a door that opens and we're like, I think I'm going to take it. And people look at us and be like, you're going to walk that way? Like, seriously, you're going to do that? And it's like, yeah. Yes, I am. And so everything starts moving us. We start moving us. We start being guided forward. We start saying, there is more here than I ever knew. And so we're swept along. This time kind of sweeps us up, and it leads us to walking away from what we once thought we loved. It leads us to this place of change and to this place of embrace of change. It's like, I thought I was going to be here, but now I have to move forward. Now this moon is illuminating my heart in such a way that it's showing me I can't stay here anymore. There's something that we've, signed onto, something that we thought, yeah, I can do this. And now we're doing it. And it's like, no, I really can't. And I don't want to. This isn't letting go of our responsibilities, because Lord knows everybody would just walk away from our responsibilities if we could at different moments. But it's saying, I'm listening to my heart, I'm listening to my soul, I'm listening to myself, and I get to walk forward. I get to embrace happiness. I get to embrace joy and smiling and success. I get to move me forward. And then it leads us to, in the public arena, really coming into balance with prosperity. And that's very interesting because it's the way we kind of look at ourselves. And so as earth sign energies, we kind of look at how successful am I first? And then, okay, is this in alignment with who I am? And this is going to be a little bit different because we're looking at how successful we are in being in alignment with who we are, with the doors being open, with us saying, but this is me, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is how I'm moving forward, this is what I desire within my life. It brings us then to the Hanged Man. It brings us to seeing things so differently because it's like, oh, this is it, right? This is what I was looking for. This is what I desired. This is what I wanted. This is what I needed. This is who I am. And so as we see things differently, we see ourselves differently. As we look at things, and we're going to think in the public arena, like, oh my gosh, I'm wrong. Oh my gosh, I'm just going to the beat of my own drum. And there's almost going to be a sense of, I can't fit in even if I wanted to. And so here, it's like, okay, embrace the different. Embrace the different. Embrace the power moving forward. Embrace looking at things upside down for a little bit. And say, yeah, this is where I need to be. This is what I desire from my life. I desire the difference. I desire to walk to the beat of my own drum. I'm not desiring to live for anybody else but me. As we embrace this energy, it moves us to the power of the moon. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. At our root, it is the path that leads to a win-win outcome. It links us to the full moon in Libra, which is very much enhancing the Libra energy around us, letting us know that, okay, if we're born on the cusp with Libra, that's coming out very powerfully here. We're going to be very drawn to the new moon, but it's also letting us know that as a Virgo in and of ourselves, we're very drawn to the new moon. We're very drawn to the power of it. Our path is going to open. This starts opening our path. We start seeing that we're winning. We start seeing that there's more to life, or there's more to a win than what we had originally defined it as so limitedly. Then it leads us to our inner self. It says focus. A time for healing. Focus, because this is a time for healing. This is a time to connect with the earth, connect with what you desire, connect with who you are. Open up and focus on the healing that is a part of you. The healing that guides you, the healing that loves you. And this is a time to focus also on the spiritual, to immerse ourselves in those waters. And then brings us to our emotional self. It says beauty. Communication is key. In order to have beauty within our lives, especially with our hearts changing so much, with us walking away from things we thought we would love, especially with so much change and intensity as a part of us, we need to communicate. Communication is going to be key. We need to say what we're thinking. We need to say what we want. We need to know that people aren't mind readers, and to say, this is where I'm headed and why. This is what I want. This is the change that I need. This is what I desire and why. It brings us then to the lunar public self, which says surrender. Energy is gaining momentum. Surrender to the energy that is gaining momentum. Surrender to the energy of seeing things differently, change, insight, and ideas. It moves us now to our subconscious lunar energy, which is peace. Adjustments are required. Have peace, serenity of self, because things are going to be changing. We need to make adjustments. We need to realign things in order to open up the doors, in order to say, this is where I'm headed. This is what I want. This is what I desire from my life. We need to make those adjustments in order for the peace to fully be a part of us. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Chariot, Cancer energy. We need to be mindful of our hearts just completely taking charge and us being so impulsive emotionally that we actually don't get to where it is that we want to be. We need to be mindful of our subconscious and conscious self coming together and acting in tandem with each other, because this can be a very easy time for our subconscious self to want one thing, our conscious self to want another, and we don't understand the self-sabotaging that's taking place. We also need to be very mindful of people who perpetuate this, our own self-sabotaging, or perpetuate their self-sabotaging that takes up all our time, that are letting their hearts rule them without having any direction of where they're going, what they want, and who they are. It moves us then to our chakra energy, which is grounding. Again, Spirit already said that this was going to be so important. It is the Earth Star chakra located 6 inches below our feet. We need to ground ourselves to the earth, to the source of our energy, to the source of our power. We also need to be aware, kind of metaphorically speaking, of the energy that we're feeding ourselves. What is the soil like? What are we planting ourselves in? Are we a cactus being planted in really rich, moist soil? That wouldn't work. Are we, planting a tree that needs a lot of moisture, an oak tree, in cactus soil? It's not going to grow. We're not going to thrive. How is it that we are feeding ourselves? How is it that we are inspiring ourselves? How is it that we're opening up the door and grounding ourselves to the energy that is needed? And what is nurturing us? It brings us then to our subconscious rooted self, which is the death card, the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new, moving forward towards our dreams, moving forward towards our desires, moving forward to our wisdom and our insight and our inspirations. There's a sense of I am changing, and I acknowledge and I embrace this change. But as I am changing, I am seeing myself more clearly, more openly, and more honestly. I know that I will not stay the same. This moon is showing us this. This moon is connecting us with our hidden spiritual side, the hidden part of us where we kind of we push it down and down and down as we embrace the waking world. And Spirit is saying here, I am transformed by being able to connect with it, by being able to connect with you. So the person that we were starting this journey transforms into the person we are at the end of it, which is going to be quite different. It moves us then to our subconscious inner self, which is offering. Now, offering in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is equated to the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is the Hermit. We are giving an offering to the earth, again, grounding ourselves, connecting ourselves with the earth, with what we desire, with what we need, with the energy of creation. We are giving that offering, and it is being received. And we are going to see how it spreads out. We are going to see how it affects others. We are going to see how it affects us in a brilliant, powerful, intense way. Our subconscious emotional self is the King of Wands. We're very focused on success. We're focused on our passion, our determination, our connection with the earth. When we have fire sign energy come in, all about transformation through fire, through intensity, we have so much energy here with the heart of water. I just see this water coming forward, and that's with the 8 of Cups. We also have the 8 of Wands, which is playing along to our passions. Everything is changing around our passions. We have to be mindful of the fire going out. We have to be mindful of saying, no, this is too much right now, and drenching something that is putting out something that is intrinsically important to us. We also have to be mindful of the fire boiling the water and boiling off the hydrating substance that we need for our emotions to dive into, to embrace, and to be at home in. So this is a time where our hearts can really have one extreme or another. This is a time of extremes and intensity, but this is also a time of us embracing our passion and our desire and moving forward in this intense creativity and this intense time of wonderment, of insight, of transformative determination. It leads us then to our public arena self, and that's temperance coming through again. Balance, we have it at our root. Now we have it in our public self. Balance is needed. The balance of the spiritual and the practical. The balance of the way we used to see things and the way that we see things now. The balance of the hard work and the cycle of who we are, from child to, or youth to, adult to wisdom. And embracing those cycles of who we are, of what we want, of what we're discovering, and of the path that leads us forward. And this is also here, physically, the balance of earth and of water, and being a part of that, the spiritual and the practical. All right, Virgo, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the beauty of this moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Virgo, and may you have a blessed moon.